Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We always recommend pouring a little stronger.
Oh, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Funky Panther, coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas. Thanks for joining us. We've got a wonderful episode for you and a wonderful guest. We've got Dustin Massey on. You want to say hey?
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
So welcome, and this is episode 39. We skipped last week. We're getting into it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
And I'm Tim.
And we are
the Funky Panther!
I feel like I was just out of sync because we missed last week. You know, it's been 2 weeks since we've done this. I feel out of it a little bit.
It's always weird.
Whiskey helps.
Yeah,
whiskey will help.
It's always weird when we go that block, but then it's also weird when we have like these short back-to-back episodes. Like we have to have somebody come on because of scheduling or whatever, and it's just like I don't know what to do. It's just too much, but we make it work. We make it work.
So how have y'all been the past couple of weeks?
Busy.
Busy?
Yeah.
You busy?
Yes.
During Snowmageddon? 2021?
Yeah.
Snowvid-19, as Robin called it.
Yeah. Freezing cold, nonstop. I work on an ambulance. That's what I do for a living. And during ice storms and stuff like that, we suspend all emergency traffic. So no lights and sirens. You can be dying, and we're going to get there when we get there because we got to be safe. Because if we can't get there, then we can't do anything for you, right? So it's nonstop moving. We clear a call. We go to the hospital or whatever. As soon as we go available, it's go to the next one. Go to the next one. And it's long days, getting off, an hour, 2 hours late every night. Yeah. Dustin, were you impacted at all with the Snowvid?
Man, we were pretty fortunate, but like most of my family and like friends, like my parents lost their water, their electric, everything. And they got like horses and stuff, and they were all freezing, but we couldn't get to them. And I was like coordinating, trying to help family members, and then other people who are like living in rental properties and stuff. That is part of my family's got a couple of rental properties, and like everyone's pipes were bursting.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
And there was like one guy called me. He's like, "Yeah, I just came home and there's like an inch of water. I think it's freezing as it's coming out of the wall. So this is fine." We were pretty fine.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I turned the water back onto the utility room, and it started like shooting out of the baseboard. So I learned how to like cap pipes.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's like not.
Like I might not be able to replace them, but I can at least get this water stopped.
It's stopped until somebody who has any idea what they're doing.
Just
can come
imagine
out
like,
and, fix it.
Someone sticking like bubble gum, trying to like that, like whatever works, Yeah,
I saw some really crazy pictures and video of people that lived in apartments coming through the ceiling and then just icing through the fan.
Yeah.
And then like coming off the balcony and having like a waterfall that's starting to freeze over, like just some crazy shit through all this. And we were very fortunate, and I realize now why. We were only down 30 minutes. My wife and I have got a house in Benbrook. And we were only down for like 30 minutes the entire time. And so we had some friends staying with us all week so they could stay warm. We had the fire going every day to try to conserve a little bit of energy. But we were apparently on the same, I guess, the same grade, because we're only three blocks away from the water treatment plant there in Benbrook, right by the lake. And so I think we were just fortunate enough to be on the right grid.
Yeah, I'm on the same grid as Tim Love. And so I'm fortunate there because those people pay a lot for those houses.
Oh, yeah,
and,
I'm sure.
I live in a shit box, but they pay a lot for their houses. And I think that's what made it okay for me.
So when you buy a house in Texas, 3 things you need to think about when you're thinking about your house. You want to be on the same power grid as either a water treatment plant, a hospital, or Tim Love. Is that the deal?
Someone. Yes. Cool. I think that's what did it.
That makes sense.
That was us, man. I think we're close enough to like the hospitals over there, like around Magnolia and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were just like, maybe we're going to get lucky, but then we kind of, trying to help other people out because you feel a little bit guilty because,
for sure,
a lot of people had a rough.
Yeah.
Our street is like tore up from it icing over and people driving over it. And it was kind of like a main road.
Yeah.
Got kind of, it diverted them down our road.
Yeah.
It's a little side street, does not need to handle a bunch of traffic. And people are just like running up and down this road just like 20 miles an hour, like 50 miles an hour. And there's just like massive potholes.
I also saw pictures of like cars like nose dived in the road. I guess because maybe
sinkholes.
Sinkholes.
I think South Main had one.
The water lines break or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think the craziest thing was seeing Lake Worth frozen over.
And
seeing the Trinity River frozen over. I'm like, in my lifetime, I never saw anything like that. My dad tells me in '83, you were able to drive.
Back in my day.
You were able to drive he was able to drive a vehicle out onto Lake Worth. But so one of our family friends who lives on Lake Worth, they were saying that she walked out past her dock on the ice and it was really thick, and she saw someone driving a golf cart around on there, and I'm just sitting there thinking, like, that's stupid.
Nope.
Not me.
So dumb.
No way.
So dumb. I wouldn't even walk on that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was a week and it was pretty cold, but still, that's nuts.
I mean, you got to have fuck it money if you're going to do that, right? I mean,
well, also, like
or
a death
drunk and
wish.
drunk and a child or a teenager. Or,
Really good insurance.
yeah.
Yeah. The last time anything like this happened was like, I didn't realize.
Super Bowl.
I was looking it up. So Super Bowl was exactly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Damn.
I remember it would being a lot
Yeah.
more fun back then because I didn't have to work all week.
Yeah.
And we were young and we were like going to all the Super Bowl things downtown. So we just took it as like a vacation, right? But I don't know if it's because we're older or if it's just because this one was worse because of the power outages and stuff. But it just seemed like more dangerous this time around.
I remember like not one of the first freezes, but like a freeze maybe 2 years or 3 years before that we ended up going to, we went downtown. Like I got off work and we all went to Flying Saucer.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
remember, like, there's ice on the ground. It took us like, an hour to get to Flying Saucer in downtown, and we all live kind of in this general area. And we still did it, and we had some libations, and it was a good time. But this time, yeah, not so much. No polar bear dive this year.
No. It was a little weird out there. Yeah. Did y'all go anything? You go anywhere good this weekend now that like the weather was okay? It went from like just completely shitty to like the most beautiful 60-degree sunny weather this weekend that it could possibly be. Do anything cool? Fun?
I worked.
What about you, Javier?
Dude, I forget.
Well, we went out Saturday night,
We
right?
did. Yeah, we Saturday and
Funky picnic, tarantula.
I went for a walk.
Oh,
I was just like, I'm gonna
real
go for a
nice.
walk. I need to like be outside. Don't want to take it for granted.
I mean, were you closed in? Like, I mean, just
Yeah, we didn't really go outside for I don't know, 5 days.
yeah. I mean, like, it takes a toll on
Yeah.
you. You don't realize even with the pandemic, like,
Dude, I wore so much because I had to be out in it. I had so many layers on. I had sweatpants on underneath my work pants, and I had like a hoodie on
a
and a
diaper,
jacket. Oh yeah, man, because we couldn't go to the bathroom. There's no time for that. It was insane. Like I've never been that cold. I don't think
It was bad.
This deal. I've never been that cold. And Jessie, she works down in Burleson, so she was like, I'm not driving down to Home Depot or whatever and working. It's not going to happen. So
whenever you walk, Dustin, like, where'd you go? Like, did you just go to the park or?
I just like walking down the sidewalk, walking into random neighborhoods. I think
Dustin's just out enjoying life,
I
Walk
was
through
just
someone's
like, I'm
house
gonna go
and, hey.
anywhere. I just like talking to people on their porch. They're like, please get off my lawn. I'm just trying to be friendly. So
Cool.
It's like, hey, where's the nearest fancy, delicious store? Back the way you came.
like, get out of here. Get out of here, you hippie.
I started going to I went to Kroger. I guess it was maybe Monday or Tuesday. One of the first days it was getting bad. I was like, I gotta go. I'm that guy who, my dad's calling me like at the end of last week, like, it's gonna freeze. Let the faucets drip. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to talk to mom. And no, he was absolutely right. And I didn't have hardly anything. So I'll go to Kroger. And when I get to Kroger, like all the lights are out.
Oh man.
There's people with their flashlights on their phone shopping. And there's caution tape. This is the Kroger over like Berry Street.
Yeah.
There's caution tape over all of like the freezer section. Anything like, you couldn't get milk, you couldn't get eggs or anything. And, there's like maybe two checkout lines.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. It felt like a movie.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to Fiesta. grocery
Oh, yeah,
store.
over there off of 8th.
I don't know why I don't always go to that grocery store. They're
so
awesome.
great. They're great.
It is awesome. And so, yeah, there we go.
It's really
He's like,
weird.
I was able to get my stuff.
Like whenever the pandemic hit, like everyone was hitting all the major stores, and we have like a La Michoacana over here in River Oaks, and I was like finding like toilet paper and rice and beans, and like they got like the marinated fajitas and stuff.
They
like
literally
that,
had all
so-
the staples that you needed.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm Mexican, so I love all
If
that.
you didn't
shit.
know, Dustin, Javier here wants you to know that he's Latino.
I am a Latino.
He's got to make sure everyone knows
Yes.
on like every episode now. I am a Latino.
Well, I mean, because the stuff he says, we want to make sure that everybody knows that what's coming out of his mouth.
They're just listening.
It's about himself. And
Well, because I mean, like you hear me talk, and they're like, it's a white guy, and then whenever I worked at T-Mobile, like I worked on seminary 1 year, and it's a high Hispanic population.
Yeah, it's over by the Grand Plaza.
Over there by the Grand Plaza and Hemp Hill. And so I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, can I help you anything? He's like, no. And then I was like, oh, maybe he didn't speak English. And I'm like, ¿te puedo ayudar con algo? And he's like, oh, shit. He's like, I didn't realize you speak Spanish. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Mexican. Look at me. I'm the same hue as you. So,
hey, what's bad? And I imagine you saying that to him. Like, same hue.
Hey, somos el mismo color. And, I think it's kind of funny. I mean, even like growing up, I had to learn English. Like I spoke Spanish, only had to take ESL. And now, like I speak more English than I do Spanish, and it kind of sucks.
You speak English really well.
I do.
No one would ever know.
No.
All right. So
you speak English better than me, I think. Actually,
I think you're right.
I don't know any other language.
You were talking about grocery stores, and shout out to like HEB. I know we don't have a whole lot here in the DFW area, but at one of their stores, probably more than one, but one that I heard about, they completely lost power. And instead of saying like, okay, we're going to figure this out and just kind of hold on to your stuff, they let everyone leave with whatever they had in their cart. Like they just straight up said, it's like, this is an crazy instance that this is going on. You need to go home and be safe, and then just go home with the stuff that you've got, which I think is crazy. But that kind of is a very
that's a Texans taking care of Texans mentality. That's what it is.
That's how HEB is, though. Yeah. Like that's a really good company. Yeah, I don't know. So
we got that all the way.
Yeah. Now that we talked about us, let's talk about you. So, Dustin, usually when we have a guest, we do something called the Funky Five, and we'll just ask like 5 real quick fire questions to kind of get to know you a little bit better. We've already kind of broken the ice, but hey, this will do a little bit more, right? So, for example, if I was to say, hey, Dustin, what is your favorite color? You would say
blue.
Nice. Okay. That's not one of the questions.
We've gotten a lot of blues though here lately. Yeah.
We have blues the color to be. All right. So, favorite Fort Worth restaurant?
Oh my gosh. That's tough.
There's too many to choose from.
There's a lot. Let's go with, I'm trying to think, Fort Worth restaurant that they don't have anywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, Chili's? Yeah, that's a good one.
Fort Worth Chili's. It's just better than the other ones.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough one.
I was gonna say Joe T's.
Yeah, dude. A lot of people say Joe T's. It's a staple.
It's just like a thing, like from growing up, and I just really love Mexican food.
Yeah.
I've decided that once things are open, they are opening up. I'm gonna start doing like a twice a week. Like I'm going to make myself for sure go out to dinner twice a week.
There you go.
And just try something. Never try the same place twice in the same month.
You can do it for a while. There are so many places in Fort Worth, so many great places in Fort Worth. But Joe T's is a really good one though. If you had someone that was coming into town, where's the one place you would probably take them?
Yeah, Joe T's.
Right? It's kind of like a Fort Worth staple. Like it's near Stockyards.
Yeah, if you're going to hang out with some fam. But then also, I'm a sucker for Heim barbecue.
Yeah.
And some people, everybody's got a barbecue opinion, but I go over there and I get that. What is it?
The fat cat,
the big cat, the fat cat.
Yeah.
I can just come on.
It's fat cat, right?
That's good.
Fat cat. Yeah.
You should try Dane's though. Yeah. Dane's is, like you said, everyone's got their barbecue spot. Yeah. Dane's barbecue is insane.
You know where Lola's is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do the trailer park.
Yeah. So they've got.
Yeah.
Dude, awesome.
That is great.
They were just doing Saturdays, but now I think they do Saturdays and Sundays.
Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
So good.
Yeah.
But it's always best to go with a group because you can buy like this $120 platter and just try everything because everything is so damn good. But all right, cool. So Joe T's, favorite Fort Worth restaurant?
That's what we'll go with.
Okay. Favorite drinking spot in Fort Worth?
Man, that has to be Magnolia Motor Lounge. Okay. For me, it really is. Right. Like, I'm trying to try more places. Like, that's the mothership for me, though.
Yeah.
As soon as I could drink and I could come to Fort Worth, like, I wanted to be like, I went to Mags.
Yeah.
That's the spot. And then it kind of becomes like, I used to, we can get into it later, but like, I moved away for a number of years. And when I moved back, I would just go to Mags and I didn't know anybody. And it was kind of awkward. It's like this weird tall. Is that a chick? That's a dude. Okay. Is that somebody from the WNBA? No. And
so for those that are just listening, he is tall and he's got long hair, and so that's the joke. So now you know.
Yeah, from behind, it's just this long, beautiful, luscious hair.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's a good spot. Favorite local musician? You can be biased if you need to be.
Favorite local musician? I mean, that's like a lot of them are like peers, like people I get to play with, but I
mean, you could say yourself.
No, I don't even like my music. No, probably. Gosh, that is the toughest question. I'm like doing this. I'm like writing this whole thing about like my Fort Worth musicians and how much I love them. We're gonna say Grady Spencer.
Grady Spencer.
Okay.
Cool.
Love that dude's music, and I was jamming it when I lived in Colorado before I ever moved back to Texas. So we're gonna say Grady.
Oh, side question: where'd you live in Colorado?
Fort Collins.
Fort Collins.
Nice. I didn't even mean to do this, and then I realized I'm wearing a Fort Collins shirt and a Fort Worth hat.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I'm just like fort to fort.
Yeah, with a fort.
Dude, I love Fort Collins. I like that whole area up there, man. It's beautiful.
If you like to drink and you like to be outside, I mean, it's a great spot.
That's where New Belgium is, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that sound. All right. Favorite podcast?
Funky Panther.
You don't have to say that.
In Fort Worth or like in general?
Just in general, yeah.
In general,
yeah.
Probably Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I hate it if that's like a very consistent answer from
No.
everybody. But
We just started asking this question because we're actually curious, right? And I think that's probably one of my favorites. It's always really cool to listen to. I mean, he's got very high names on his podcast. You know what I mean? It's always good to hear from them.
Well, it's kind of people still don't know he's on Spotify, so they're like, "Hey, where are the new episodes at?" Because I was listening to the Elon Musk one today, but I got like a quarter of the way through, and I mean, they're long.
Yeah, they're like 3 hour.
Yeah, but they're great to listen to. I never. It's never dull, and the way I work is I work at a body shop. Then I just listen to podcasts when I'm working, and it just flies by real quick. And I enjoy it a hell of a lot. So that's a good answer.
You get, if you like the Joe Rogan podcast, you get to there's like two kinds of people if they know about it. There's the people that like, you got your info from Joe Rogan, well that's facts. And then there's the people that hear you say like, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I heard this on Joe Rogan, and they immediately were like, you're one of those guys. Huh? So, okay. So,
you want to try some psilocybin?
We're just getting, I was about to say, we're getting rid of all government. We're all getting kettlebells, and we're going to do some DMT tomorrow. Like, that's it. Yeah. But no, when he had Sturgill Simpson on, I'm a big Sturgill fan. And I remember the first time I heard like all the way through Sturgill's story and like how they kind of connected, I was like, I really like this podcast.
Yeah.
Big Sturgill fan. So
cool. Last question. Favorite show when it comes on TV, so a movie. So if you've got a movie that comes on TV, you have to sit down and watch the rest of the movie. Even through the commercials.
Yeah. Let's go with probably one of the original Star Wars.
Ooh, A New Hope.
Like I'm probably even not even the remastered ones.
Okay.
Like give me A New Hope or Empire. Empire is probably my fave, but like I want the old one.
Dude, okay, so I had issues whenever I remember watching it, growing up watching it on like VHS, you know, shitty quality or whatever, probably taped off of TV. But it just had that, you know, it had that feeling. And then I saw the remaster one. I was like, this looks so fake. I was like, I don't like this. This is terrible. Give me what I remember watching, you know, especially once we got like high def TVs. I'm like, this is bullshit. This is like the worst ever. So that's my take on remaster.
I mean, I'm with you right. I'm with you right there, because I don't like some stupid sneaky scene. Like they'll sneak in like a scene that has nothing to do with it. Like I did appreciate the Han Solo talking to Jabba next to the Millennium Falcon and in A New Hope. But like, you know, I'm with you there. I like the original. I mean, remastered can go to hell. But I mean, still though, Empire's the best.
We could probably just do a whole episode on Star Wars opinions.
We really could. Like we could.
I play some music. Check it out. Anyway, so what do you think about episode 9? Let me interview you guys.
So how much do you hate Jar Jar Binks? Piece
What
of
could
shit.
they have done differently?
Oh man!
All right, so that closed out the Funky Five. So appreciate that. Great job.
Hey,
you made it through it.
So I just in the chat room. Sorry, has nothing to do with you, but apparently, We're being told that they want you to drink more. It's mostly Jared. Jared's saying he wants you to drink more, and that when you drink, you're spicy.
I'm a spicy.
And you become Bruce Banner.
Spicy boy.
I gotta get ice. I'm gonna put ice in this Heim
All right,
cup for
go
my beer.
get some some beer.
So let's go ahead and get into you, Dustin. Tell us a little about yourself before we get into the music, right? Let's talk about you. You talked about you lived here and then Colorado and then back here. So give us a little history about you.
Well, at 4 years old, I just sat down at the piano and I could play most of the Beethoven and Mozart stuff. And my parents were like, this guy's a prodigy.
You lying sack.
I was like, damn, I didn't know we had that. That's freaking
Whoa.
Nah, man. Well, I'm from Granbury originally.
Okay, yeah.
Granbury, Texas. Lots of family over there. I couldn't really have like a girlfriend. I couldn't really date a whole lot like growing up because I was probably like related to everybody like around Granbury, Godley.
That's rough.
Like Toller. So, just hung out at a lot of family events.
Okay.
Played a lot of basketball. That was kind of the thing.
Same.
You kind of have to, though, right?
Yeah, when it's funny. I made the joke. I specifically thought in my head I could remember back in like high school and like being a young guy on varsity and like warming up and other teams trolling me like the girls' team just played.
Oh Christ!
So did you have long hair?
I'd probably have a better chance of getting a scholarship if I was playing on the girls' team. That'd be cool.
Did you have long hair back then too?
I did
Okay.
like freshman, sophomore year of high school, like, and then clean cut for like a decade, and then
Back to it.
I moved up there to Colorado, and
The rest is history.
yeah,
Did they ever call you Sunshine?
Sunshine, and then oh my gosh, he's gonna be the number one pick in the draft. What's his name? Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. Yes.
It always. I was in. It was when they won the national championship.
last year, uh-huh.
Was it last year?
Uh-huh.
I was in a urinal.
Oh no, they lost. Did they?
Was it? I was using the urinal in DIA,
Yeah.
Denver Airport, and this guy is next to me, and he just like goes, looks right at me, like I can feel him staring me right in the ear hole, and he goes, "You Trevor Lawrence?" And I'm just like, if I just don't look and acknowledge him, this will go away, right? And he was like, "You look a lot like Trevor Lawrence." And I'm like, okay. So anyway,
this is happening.
I get Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence. Those are the two usually. And then the dude from Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh,
If I wear a beanie, it's just like, hey, man, you kind of look like Jay. And I'm like,
Oh, I could definitely see it now.
Smoking
I didn't
weed,
before.
doing
like
coke.
you're a pothead, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely Jay.
So anyways, yeah, grew up in Granbury, played basketball, went and played a little ball in college, didn't really like it, started to I guess pass the time and not go get like more shots up and hit study hall. I taught myself guitar.
Okay,
Like in the dorm room. I had a roommate. My freshman year of college was a whole lot of fun, but he had a guitar and he would play like Stairway to Heaven and stuff like that. He would look up the tabs and I would just listen, and I always could kind of tap around on the piano. I grew up like staying at my grandparents' house all the time on the ranch, and
Well, Beethoven's not easy. So
yeah, I'm over here like just like one key tapping out like gospel hymns that my grandma would hum and sing and stuff when my grandpa would be gone. So that's when I kind of got like a little ear for it, but far from a child prodigy. There was just a piano there, and your grandmother's not going to tell you you're bad. But I got a keyboard, and I was in college. it was freshman year of college, and
Where'd
it was
you go?
just kind of like everywhere. So I went to. I decided I had a really good friend who played basketball at Weatherford Junior College.
okay.
He was a senior in high school when I was a freshman, and I had opportunities to go like NAIA schools and smaller schools, D2s, D3s, and I was very like, I'm going to play Division I basketball. I was never going to play the Division I basketball. Like I'm probably could have been like a walk-on instead at the end of the bench, but I decided to go to Weatherford Junior College, and I think a little bit of that was like, in hindsight, 18, it was an excuse not to get too far from home yet. Like I wasn't super ready.
Yeah.
Went there, had a blast. Still friends with some of those guys. Roommate had a guitar. I would listen to him play guitar all the time. Finally decided to go get one and start learning some tabs and things like that. He was so into the red dirt music scene, like Stoney LaRue, Cody Canada, all those guys. And I was a big fan of it because of my friends and stuff growing up. I mean, you're from this area,
right,
and that's going on. Like, Casey Donahue was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, I didn't tell anybody. I just kind of hung out throughout college and I played guitar. And I had some friends once in a while that would hear me like, hey, man, you're kind of learning that thing. And then also like, could you play a little less loud, though? Because we don't need to hear you play, Alabama by Ragweed like 12 times in a row to try to get through it. So in college, playing basketball, wasn't that good at it. Heart wasn't really in it anymore. I ended up, we got a new coach, so I was going to transfer. I was thinking about going to like St. Edwards down in Austin and a couple places out of state. And I ended up going to Tarleton.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had two of my best friends were there. One was on the football team, one was on the baseball team. And I was like, well, that's where I should go then. So I had hit that coach up. They had known me from high school. They were like, we'll give you a walk-on spot. Come over here, earn a scholarship. So I was there for a year and a half. Life was fine, but I was kind of miserable playing basketball. You're in Stephenville now.
Yeah.
And there's like Six Market Boulevard.
Oh, yeah.
And like some of these bands and stuff. And I was like, when's practice over? I got to hit Bostocks, not really to go party or anything. I just wanted to hear live music. And I was like obsessive over it. Okay. And I would go back to the dorms and I would just learn all these like Texas country and red dirt songs. Yeah. Wouldn't tell anybody. Had a buddy named Tyler Rushing who was on the team who ended up leaving the basketball team as well to go pursue music. He toured for a while. But he would talk me into drinking a little bit of whiskey and going and playing open mic nights. Yeah. You can go up and cover Wagon Wheel and stuff, play 2 or 3 songs for 3 other people who are also just waiting to play songs and don't care what you're doing.
Right.
Did that through college. Got done with, I was at Tarleton. I did a semester at Texas Tech after I decided to leave Tarleton, didn't know what I want to do. Went and finished playing basketball at Hardin-Simmons University. Still not very good. But, fared a little better out there than I did.
So you kept playing basketball though you were just done with basketball.
It was this weird thing that was like, I felt like I was supposed to. It was my identity for a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't want to let anybody down. When you're 6'5" and you can just stand under the goal and jump up and dunk, and it's kind of like, what are you doing, man? Got to play a little ball in school, did you?
Real quick, what position did you play?
I was like a shooting guard.
Okay.
But a really slow one. That doesn't do that's not good not good for college. But it was like, all right, he can shoot really good.
But he's not fast.
But he also can't guard anyone. What's his grades like? Oh, he's got like a 3.0. He's gonna boost the team average. Keep him on the team. We'll use him in study hall.
He's got the knees of a young Sean Bradley.
Pretty much.
Nice.
I wasn't great. I got hurt all the time. I had like, who has multiple concussions playing college basketball?
Right.
This guy.
Seriously?
Yeah, these teeth. I joked earlier, but like some of these teeth aren't. My good teeth are fake.
Yeah.
You got a lot of good teeth.
Well, I probably should have been playing like football or hockey or something. It would have made a lot more sense. But I guess when I was at Hardin-Simmons, I've been playing guitar for a few years. I was writing songs. I got done with basketball. I finished with a pretty nasty injury the last game of like my college career. Oof. And somebody like you in an ambulance was taking me to the hospital to sew my face back together.
Oh,
like,
man.
God damn. Follow the light. I had a pretty bad concussion.
Did it at least pay for a lot of your school?
Paid for some of it.
Okay.
And some of it didn't.
Okay. Well, hey, at least it's something.
But no, it was a good experience. In hindsight, like I'm really thankful for it. And it was like this transition into a different phase of life. I got done with school. I'd been to I did the tour of like Texas schools. Yeah. We joke. I went to like 4 schools. So I could have finished, like done a summer of Old Testament and New Testament Bible classes at Hardin-Simmons because I kept putting it off. If I would have knocked those out, I could have graduated from there, or I could take like 1 class at Tarleton online and I could graduate from there. And I was like, I'm going to get that TSU degree like everyone else will know around Granbury. So transferred back there, finished at Tarleton. And while I was taking that class, I was like 22 and starting to play open mics more and like kind of like meeting people. And I had some really good friends who were like encouraging me to go play. So I moved back to the Granbury area. It was actually, I was living out kind of like in Godley. And I was working, I say the oil field, but I wasn't, I shouldn't say that because the people who work in the oil field are like hard ass and work really hard and work in our oil field. I was like a corporate liaison. I had a business degree. Yeah. I drove around in a truck and wore a collared shirt and made calls and tried to make sure the important people were happy. I did that for a little while.
So is that the company man role?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, gotcha.
And on the weekends, I would go play some music. Nothing that was anything to like post on the gram.
Right.
But
You've been doing that a lot this past couple of weeks.
Yeah, a little more lately.
Yeah.
And it's a struggle, but I'm trying to like commit to knowing that is an important thing.
Right. Oh, for
so
sure.
I'm doing it more, hopefully not too obnoxiously. But I can't say long story short because nothing about this is short. But I took a trip. I had been working at this company and life was pretty good for like a 23-year-old who had a pretty good job. And my boss was basically like, you hadn't taken any time off. You have like a couple weeks of paid vacation. You should like go do something.
Right.
And so my best friend was at Texas Tech going to PT school. And my other really good friend, my best friends, he was working the same time. I was like, you should take some time off and we should take a road trip. And we literally just went and picked him up in Lubbock and we drove to San Diego. Went from San Diego up to, I don't know, we drove up the coast. We did a bunch of things, went a lot of places over the course of like 10 days and then came home. And somewhere in there around that same time frame, I passed through Fort Collins. Tried New Belgium Brewery and some different things. I was like, this is great. And I got home and I told my supervisor, I was like, I'm probably going to quit pretty soon. He was like, what happened? I was like, I don't know, man. But I just like went, did some things. I went to college pretty close to home. I was a home guy. All my family's here. I'm working close to home. I need to do something different. And it's the time to do it. I'm a single dude. I've made decent money. And I was like, I'm give you a month notice.
Yeah.
So then the head boss guy calls me in his office and like, what's going on, man? And I told him, I was like, I don't know, man. I'm applying to schools and I'm just going to like go live somewhere else. I got into Colorado State University. And in my mind, I was like, well, my best friend's a physical therapist. Maybe I should be a physical therapist. I like to work out and I like that stuff. I'm going to go learn about muscles instead of learning about accounting and stuff when I got my business degree. Just like packed up and moved to Fort Collins, Colorado, right at the end of 2013. Was there for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Got another degree.
Nice.
Was like coaching and training athletes. It was a really cool thing. Wasn't playing much music. Got the itch again. You know, some life things happened. I was dating someone up there for a long time. That ended.
Oh, so
the music.
This is when it comes into the music thing.
You got some inspiration from that.
So
yeah.
you're looking at like, you know, however many years it was, 5, 6, 7 years playing guitar, writing songs. You've got all these songs written and stuff. You're not really telling anybody. The only people who know you play are like your close friends, family, and the dog. And the dog is like, stop yelling these songs at me every day when no one's home. At least that's what I think the dog was thinking. So, you know, that relationship ended. There was that lonely period of time. And like some of my friends, a bunch of my friends ended up moving up there after. I was like, this place is awesome. Mm-hmm. All of y'all are doing similar things to what I did. Y'all should like quit your jobs or come up here and find jobs if you're bumming it. And I ended up convincing like 4 or 5 different friends that I'd known since like high school or even before that to move to Fort Collins. So we're all
you're a good salesman.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Just like,
I don't think Colorado's that hard to sell.
No, yeah, it's pretty easy. Especially when you're younger, probably.
Well, I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool that you did it at such a young age because like people don't feel that way until like they're in their mid 20s to close to 30 and they just decide, man, I got to pack up and go.
Yeah. And I think at that age, like as you get older, that's tough because you've built so much of a life in one spot, and then you're just up and leaving. And to do it at a little bit younger age, it seems like it'd be a little bit easier.
Oh yeah,
it was like once I started talking about it, the people that you know really cared about me, close to me, my parents, close friends, people were kind of like, yeah, you need to do this because you're going. I literally saw it as and I love Fort Worth and DFW. This is home, but I saw myself being like, I'm 22 and I'm going to blink. And I've been at this company for 20 years and I'm living here and I'm probably like building a house next to my parents on the ranch and I've never left and growing up doing all the same, you know, it was just going to repeat this thing. And I was like, I need to do something different.
That makes me think about my life. My dad lives next door.
Well, I mean, I moved back in with my parents at 27, so
you had a pretty good run up in Colorado though for a little bit.
Yeah,
though,
I did.
So.
Yeah, I was over there for about 7-8 months working, and really? I was in Denver, but I was like in Centennial.
Yeah.
And so I lived in the tech center. But
what were you doing?
Hail damage repair. I just work on cars and
all hail.
Oh hail. But it was, you know, I've always said that Denver would be the only place I'd want to move to if I didn't live here, because everyone's so chill and nice. And I found like a great spot over there by Coors Field where they have really good like Mexican food. And
what spot?
Man, it's been years. I can't even tell you. But like down the road, it's like a bunch of Vietnamese restaurants or something like that.
There's a lot of good. There's good eating around it.
There really is.
It's different. Like if you go eat like Mexican food up there, it's different. It's not like Tex-Mex.
Well, I'll tell you what, because like I got so annoyed because it was just Tex-Mex. Everything had green chili in it.
Everything has green chili. Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with green chili.
Well,
but it's
that's all you have, I guess. Maybe
it's like, why is there green chilies on my pizza right now?
It's that New Mexican, like the New Mexico
and Colorado, a lot of green chili.
But we had to Google like where can we find good menudo in Denver, and you know we found a spot where they didn't throw green chilies everywhere, and it was, dude, I love it. Like I'm telling you, I would go over there for like I was supposed to go over there and work for like 6 months, like this past year. But, you know,
I was supposed to go last weekend, but, you know, the freeze.
From the live stream, we got Afton saying, "You're such a great storyteller. Love that you're doing this."
Thanks, Afton.
And also Jay Patterson.
What's up, Jay?
Hey, now. Hey, now. But yeah, no, I mean, I really love hearing that, that you did do all that, go to Fort Collins. Again, you had a great job, and you just had, what is it, like the bug bit you, like after you went on a 10-day trip and you had a self-discovery and you're like, dude, I just got to do this. Like, I mean, I know like I have a great, like you said, I can blink and 20 years will pass.
Yeah.
And you decided, look, it's either now or it's never going to happen.
And that happens with a shit ton of people. Like a ton of people just, you know, don't go anywhere, don't do anything, and they don't realize what's out there. Right.
And I don't think I would be playing music now, or like nothing would be happening right now. Had I not gone away for like that 5 years and done something completely different.
Yeah.
And, you know, life events happened, and it just kind of like worked out perfectly that I'd built up like a catalog of songs. I worked on writing and stuff. And it's actually cool. A Fort Worth musician, Luke Wade.
Yeah, Luke Wade.
Okay. So Luke ties into the story a little bit. I would go see Luke play when he was here. I would go see everybody. As soon as, especially when I was working and living close to Granbury, it's like Josh Weathers, Luke Wade. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't come see Grady then. I don't even know if Grady was here then, but you know, there was just Fort Worth guys. I wanted to go watch them because there was something about it that was like, those guys are way more badass than me, and I can play like 6 chords on a guitar, but it felt like this is close to home, and it seems attainable if you wanted to work really hard and you were actually talented, which I was like not working hard enough, and I didn't think I was talented. I just really loved music.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, seeing guys like Luke and whatnot, when I'm in Colorado, I guess I had like Facebook friended Luke at some point in time. He was my friend, and I was off social media most of the time when I was up in Colorado. For some reason, every now and then I would like activate Facebook and stuff, like stuff my mom would be like, "Oh, look at what your cousins did." I was like, "Mom, I'm not on Facebook." And so I'd go activate my old Facebook from college and stuff, and I'd get on there. Because when I moved to Colorado, I kind of wanted to disappear.
Yeah.
You know, I created a new little world up there, even though I ended up bringing like 4 or 5 of my friends over time, but it was a different world. I was pretty disconnected from here. And, you know, towards the end of being there, I got out of a relationship. I was playing a lot. I would come home from work and I was like playing guitar by myself at home, doing nothing else.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I had some really sweet neighbors. Shout out Joe and Courtney and little Logan.
Little Logan, did you keep little Logan awake?
No. Logan that's her little girl, and she's just about to turn 1. But I had like the coolest block. This is actually kind of a cool story. I have like old videos and pictures on my phone. So I had all this equipment that I had like got from pawn shops and like other musicians that they didn't need anymore. Like I had a PA system. I had no need for a PA system. I did not go play shows.
Yeah,
but you were ready.
But you had one.
But it was like a pop-up. Like if you want to play acoustic, 2 speakers and a PA box that was powered. Yeah. And I would set it up in my garage, and I have a picture of it somewhere. I need to like post that to Instagram, but I had like this drum kit that I had bought that was like pieced together, and this little bitty bass cab, and this little bitty like this keyboard I got, and I made like my own stage, and I went and bought like not rugs, but stuff you would like put down in a garage, like from Home Depot. Right. I made my own stage and I would play out of the garage into the neighborhood. Eventually, somehow I recruited some of my friends to pretend they could play some instruments. I'd be like, listen, here's the 3 notes you play on the bass. Just play them straight in a row. Here, I had a friend named Philip. And
just do this.
Yeah, and he would play the drums. They'd keep rhythm, and I would get to play guitar while they made sounds. Yeah. And it was cool. If you did not play any music at all, you'd be like, oh, they play music. If you play music, you're like, this poor bastard. But there was a day, the neighbors were pulling up, Joe and Courtney, before I knew them. And I see them pull up, and we're making racket. Joe, and it's like on a Saturday afternoon at 2, and I see Joe get out, and he kind of like looks my direction, gives me a wave, and starts like walking across the street. And I was thinking to myself, I finally pissed the neighbors off. I didn't know how long I was going to get away with this. And he comes over and he goes, "Were you just playing some ragweed?" And I was like, "Where are you from?" And he was like, "Oklahoma." And I was like, "What? Did we just become best friends?" And he was like, "Yep. I have a harmonica and a guitar. I'm gonna come right back over if that's cool." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And that was it. So we would like that's jam. Awesome. We would jam in the garage and stuff and talk about everything from like Red Dirt bands to like Sturgill and Tyler Childers on the come up and stuff like that. And it was like my close group of friends up there, and then literally the neighbors. Shout out Donna across the street. She moved to Boston. I don't know. She was like 80 or something, and like a widow lived across the street. And she would listen. She'd be like, "It sounds so nice when you play. I brought you some brownies." I'm like, "This is cool. That's cool." So the neighbor, like the little community right there. There was a guy who like he just played piano at the church, and he would walk his dog by. And one day he stopped. And so he's like playing piano. Joe's playing guitar. One of my friends is playing. And we had like 5 or 6 people who would rotate. That's cool. We would just drink beers and hang out in the garage and play really bad music. But they would all kind of be like, "Hey, man, you should go play." Yeah. And I was like, what do you want from me? It was like this imposter syndrome. And I finally went and played some open mics and stuff. Once the breakup happened and time went by where it was like a year of like playing music. And I went to these open mics, and it was very weird. I was terrified. And you would play like 2 or 3 songs, and it was different than when I was like in college going with some buddies, because it was like I knew nobody, and I was in Fort Collins. It was bigger than Stephenville. Yeah. And I would get done playing, and people would, like somebody would walk up and be like, "Hey, man, I just come here to like see if there's any local talent. Here's my card. I can book you." Or somebody would be like, "Hey, man, I really love that song." And I would just like almost like tear up, like uncomfortable, like this is weird. I was just doing this to like say I did it, and y'all are telling me like I'm good at music. Screw all of y'all. What do y'all want from me? Like I literally had that kind of anxious reaction to it. Time went by. Back to the Luke Wade thing. I logged onto Facebook for a random reason. I still remember it. And Luke Wade was the first person I saw on my feed, and it said he had just been on The Voice, and he was like, "I'm taking some time to take on like some doing lessons for like songwriting mentorship." And he was like, "If you're interested, click the link and fill this form out." And I did it, and I filled the form out, and I didn't submit it, and I exited it out. And I went to do something else, and I was pissed off at myself, and I went back in there and I did it again. And like, he's not even going to reach out to me. And he reaches out to me the next day. I'm on the phone with Luke Wade, who wasn't my friend. He was just a guy like, and he was like, "Do I know you from anywhere?" I was like, "Dude, I used to come to your shows." And Facebook. Like, I'm your friend. And then, but you also accepted my Facebook request. I don't know if you're trying to get your numbers up or how that worked back in 2008 whenever I requested you or whatever. But he was really kind, and we started doing these weekly lessons, and he would give me like songwriting homework. Yeah. And I'd come back, and he'd be like, in the nicest way, like, "This is trash." Not really, but he would give me really good feedback, constructive criticism, positive when he needed to be, and also help me write songs. And I remember having like a really down, I was kind of hurting about the breakup, and I really just wanted to write about it. And I wrote this song. At the time, it was called Never Get Away. It became Run. And it was like the first song that I finished that I knew was going to be something more than just like an open mic song, I guess. Because I had written some songs. I'm like, I don't know if this is good, but it just felt complete. Right. It felt like there's nothing to change here. This song's as good as it can be for what it is. It may never be anything. But I played it at an open mic soon after that. And for an open mic, granted, there's like, 18 people there. But the reaction was much more than an open mic. It was like, holy crap, people like dug that. And I think it was because it was so real and it felt real for me. Mm-hmm. And this song's actually going to be on the little plug, the album that I'm going to drop at some point this year. And so it's like the first song that was completed for this album, and it stuck. And people, if there's people who've, been to a show around DFW or something, people, they would at least recognize the song because I've played it a bunch around Fort Worth.
Right.
But there was just something that happened that kind of like put this spark then. It was like, just like enough of a maybe.
So was that feeling from that song that made you go, oh, okay.
Like it gave me a maybe.
Yeah.
And then months later, Luke was here playing above the Red Goose Saloon. At the time, it was it Fort Worth Live then? I think it was.
Yeah, it might have been.
I think it was Fort Worth Live.
Oh, yeah.
And he was playing with Chris Watson.
Yeah.
And he had like 2 or 3 of his students come. He was like, hey, man, if you're going to be in town, here's the thing. Luke doesn't know this. Maybe I'll send him this and be like, he's a buddy now. I love Luke to death. And maybe I'll send him this, but he doesn't know this. I lied to him. He said, will you be in Texas when I'm in Texas playing this show?
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know, man. Why? And he was like, well, I was going to have you come play a couple songs, do a 20-minute set or something. And I bought a ticket to come home to Texas so I could play that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just because I was like, it's one of those things like everything inside me said, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But I was like, I have to do this. And I did it. And I don't think I did very good even, but I didn't open my eyes for 3 songs. I played a cover song and 2 of my songs, and I didn't open my eyes. And the other like 2 students that were there, I was like, 25 or something, and they were like 16. But that was beside the point. And I think they were better than me. Wherever they are right now, they're like on The Voice or something. But people reacted in a way that all the voice, like all the little things that I would tell myself was like, I shouldn't be doing this. People were sincere and genuine enough. I was like, you know what? I enjoy this so much. Even if people just keep lying to me, I think I can just do this once in a while.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know how, but somehow it snowballed. I ended up, my grandmother's health was really bad. I'm really close to my grandparents. And it was just kind of like, I need to move. I had reasons to move home. Not a lot of reasons to stay other than the fear of coming back to Texas and like life changing again after I got my own world up there. Mm-hmm. And it was just time. Come help the family. The family has a little business, and it was just time to come home. And it also was kind of like, there's an opportunity maybe if I go back to Fort Worth to play music. And that's just kind of what happened. And that process started like about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I would start just playing little things. A guy named Phil Hamilton was very, very kind to me and gave me opportunities to open up. Him and his wife, Erica, were just very sweet to me about 3 years ago or coming up on that. And little opportunities popped up. Little by little, somebody passed something around. I was like, oh, man, I'm getting open up for some cool people and some little stuff around DFW. And then
you've got 3 songs on iTunes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or Apple Music.
Yeah, and one of them is Run, that song I was telling you about. So I guess it's about a year and a half ago. It took a long time I moved back and I was living with my parents. I was living in the room I grew up in high school and I was like 27.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's not, but at the time I hated it. Yeah, I'm like living in Granbury, Texas. Are you kidding me? And like, love Granbury, but it's not where I wanted to be at that point in time in life. Things felt really weird. But at night when I would just like, my parents are watching Big Bang Theory and I'm like, I don't want to hang out with y'all. And it's Tuesday, so I'm not driving to Mags because we were going to start developing a problem for me to drive an hour up there.
Oh yeah.
I would go up to my room and I would play guitar by myself. And that's where a lot of these other songs started coming from that were, when the album comes out or if you see a live show, it's pretty obvious that a lot of my songs are like this dual perspective battle of like, should I do it? Should I not? Should you pursue your dreams or should you not? Like, can I justify what I'm doing? Doesn't matter. Screw it. Like, live your best life.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. And so those 3 songs, I was actually doing a record. Phil Hamilton and his lead guitar player, Austin Morgan at the time, Woodrow Morgan, they connected me with a guy named Bo Bedford. And Bo's out of Dallas, and Bo's an incredible producer. So this is like fall 2018, maybe 2019. 2020 screwed a lot of things up for my timeline.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's like we all have a year of eligibility again.
Right.
It's a wash. So let's all go like play baseball or something. I don't know. But I was working in fall of, I think it was 2018 with Bo Bedford. Still kind of coming back and forth from Colorado a little bit, and we were working on a record, but I didn't have a band really, and I didn't know what I was going to do. We were like making some tracks. It was so cool to be working with those guys because I found out Bo was, he had worked with Jonathan Tyler a lot. Jonathan Tyler and Northern Lights. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, okay.
You know, I'd seen them back in like when I was at Tarleton, like playing with Cody Canada and stuff, and I was like, "Holy crap! This isn't just like country. This is way different than Casey Donahue."
Right.
Mm-hmm. 2 shout outs to Casey Donahue. But it like couldn't be more different. It was like rock and roll with some blues and southern rock and these different vibes. It was like, man, that's a lot like music Daddy would listen to. So when I found out Bo was kind of in a little different vein in the Texas music scene, I was like, this is so cool. I'm working with freaking Bo Bedford. My mind is blown.
Yeah.
And when Bo would work with me, it was like, man, I still don't know that I fully believe in myself, but like if this dude will work with me, I just need to shut up and do what he says and kind of like be okay with playing guitar and singing songs.
Right.
So we cut some tracks, and they're great quality and they're great tracks. And they're songs that are, some of them are the songs that are on the Nashville Sessions EP that I have online, on Spotify and all that good stuff. And then some of them are tracks that are going to be on the album that will come out later this year. I didn't know how to describe it because I'm such a green musician, but something didn't feel exactly right yet. Bo was super cool. He's like, you just need to go play a lot more and you need to go write a lot more. Well, I ended up putting a band together, and for like the second half of 2019, we played a lot of shows, and it was like, I was very fortunate. The guys would play with me when I had no rapport. I didn't have anything out at that point in time. And the shows we were getting to play on, a lot of artists that right now are really coming up and doing well. We had some momentum towards the end of 2019. What my band is now, started really coming together. A guy named Nathan Ziem came in, played drums, and he was with, he's played with Tennessee Jet, Zach Wilkerson, and a lot of Michael Lee, a lot of other artists that are great that played around this area. And then Cameron Moreland started playing bass. He actually took over for one of my best friends, also named Cameron, who was my roommate at the time, who was playing bass for me. Cameron Moreland came in to play bass. Shane Hudson playing guitar, and he was playing with a guy named Tristan Merez, and had played with like Zach Stokes and a bunch of different like local artists. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal players. And then Sam Jones, who he plays for Mike Ryan full time, he would play keys for me sometimes. And it's like, started getting like this band. It's like, wow, these guys are so much better than me. It's probably the way it needs to be. Like, if I'm by far the worst musician in my band and they're willing to play with me, there's something good happening here. So I took those guys back into the studio with Bo. And we cut an album. I think we only spent 4 days in the studio. Wow. We cut it live the way we've been playing the album live. We just all got in a room and, soundproofed everything off, and it was like, let's just do this. And Bo would tweak some things like, this needs to be this way for a record versus it just being like a live album.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm really proud of. The Nashville Sessions thing was a few months before that. I'm messing up my timeline, but I went out to Nashville and did that with a guy named Philip Kramer. He was a connection from Bo. He was helping me being like a vocal coach and helping me learn how to not blow my voice out when I would sing. Phenomenal musician. And we cut it at Keith Gaddis's studio. He was lead guitar player for Dwight Yoakam for so long.
Okay, yeah.
Phenomenal guy. And there's videos of that session on YouTube.
Yeah, I watched a few of those, and so I was going to ask you, that had to been, going to Nashville and recording.
Oh yeah.
As a singer songwriter and the Red Dirt scene and all that stuff. That had to be kind of like a really high moment, right?
Yeah, it was. I drove out there, and it was just kind of like this weird thing. Now I'm driving to Nashville to go record some songs with Dwight Yoakam's lead guitar player, who also he did a bunch of Wade Bowen stuff and Reckless Kelly stuff and Mickley and the Motor Cars. And when we were in the studio, he was like, yeah, man, we got to have to wrap this up. I got to hop on a plane. I'm going to fly out to Idaho and go play the Brown Brothers reunion with them. I think I'm playing with Mickey and the Reckless Kelly and a few of the different ones. And I'm just like, this is just like a Wednesday for you.
This is no big deal. Yeah.
Can I carry your luggage for you? I need to be at this thing. And I was really proud of it. We did those 3 songs, Cal Quinn and Allie Faye, I think, Cal and Allie. They do a lot of videography work in the scene out in Nashville and Dallas. They videoed those, or they shot those 3 videos. And what is in the videos is actually what's on the EP that's on Spotify. And Philip Kramer, he's the guy who kind of produced it and mixed it to put it on there. So I had that. Come backtrack into the band a few months later. I get the band together. We're playing some really cool shows at the end of 2019. Some of the highlights that were really cool, we played with the Steelwoods out at Hanks, and we played a sold out night with the Reckless Kelly, and we played a great night here in town with Grady Spencer. I think it was sold out with Magnolia Motor Lounge a little over a year ago.
Okay.
Finished the record. We were so excited. Like, I'm about to release like maybe some singles or an album, but I got like this. I have a full album.
Yeah.
With these incredible musicians. And then we're starting to book out shows. Starting to think like maybe I need like a manager and a booking agent. Start trying to do all this stuff, really being legit. Like,
right.
Wow, we're going to do this. I was very fortunate. I got a bunch of shows booked out last spring and some stuff going in the summer. And we were going to play Calf Rye Music Festival, which they just announced. Calf Rye just announced the new lineup for this year. But the people were there. We were all like with Reed Southall and Shane Smith and the Saints and Colby Cooper and some of these big names kind of freaking out that this is going to happen. And then boom.
COVID.
Yeah,
that's
it ruined it for a lot of people.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to woe is me because, I mean, there's people, there's always somebody's got it like way rougher.
Right.
But, for the musicians, especially, those that were using, it's their, sole means of, they've quit, their day jobs and all that stuff, and they're putting all their heart and soul in the music, and then it just kind of pulled the rug out from underneath you.
Yeah, and didn't really know what to do because I felt like we had momentum. Mm-hmm. It was about to start happening. And in my mind, I was like, we need to release some music right before Calf Rye. Had some cool shows booked. I had my first Magnolia Motor Lounge headlining show that was going to be in March last year. I was really excited. We've since we headlined it back in October once things went to like 50 or 70% capacity, whatever it was. And that was a lot of fun. But, between that and Calf Rye and a few other really cool support dates and shows that kind of just like went away, it was like, am I even going to do music again? Kind of feel like sitting in Colorado, just got out of a relationship. I'm not a musician. I don't know what I need to do. I'm going through the motions, but everybody was sitting around having really weird feelings, Mm-hmm. And I was telling the band, like, we'll figure it out. Like, everybody was trying to figure it out. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I may not be doing this anymore. I don't know if it makes any sense or is feasible. I have this record, though. I don't know what to do. Maybe I should just, like, put it out, like, post it on Instagram. Hey, here's an album. Mom. Like who's going to listen to this? And I don't know. I just feel fortunate that the guys were very encouraging. Like, let's hold out and see what's going to happen. And people within my circle were like, this is really good. Let's just wait.
Right.
Nothing bad's happened to you because you didn't really have anything fully established. But just re-game plan. And as things started to open up a little bit after the summer, we played 2 shows as a band. I played some acoustic stuff here and there. We do some Instagram lives, keep writing, but we played 2 shows back in October, Magnolia Motor Lounge and the Rustic Tap down in Austin.
I don't think I've ever been there.
It's a cool spot, man. Good friend Brett Berry from Toller out there by Granbury. He's got that joint, and that's a great spot down there on the chiller side of 6. Not what do they call it? What do they call it? Like
Dirty
West Side,
6?
Dirty 6.
Yeah.
It's not on Dirty 6.
Got it.
But we played those shows. That was great. And then did some acoustic stuff. And 2021 hit. And it was kind of like, all right, I need to get the guys together. We need to start rehearsing. I need to just really just set some dates and set some goals that I couldn't back out of.
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny how when you're like, you sign up for the half marathon or something like that, and you give them your money, and then you told your friends about it. Like, you can't really get out of it.
No,
unless like something real bad happens. So we just set some specific dates of things that were going to happen, and
like what?
Maybe our first single release.
Okay.
Which I can't tell you what single it is. Oh, man. Depending on who's watching, I might get in trouble. So we're going to announce some show dates tomorrow.
Okay.
But one that's really cool is we're playing Magnolia Motor Lounge on March 13th.
Awesome.
Okay.
And we're going to drop a single that night.
Ayo.
Okay.
First
March
one off
13th.
You heard it first, I think.
First on the Funky Panther.
You heard it first.
Oh my gosh.
He's like,
my phone's on airplane mode.
huge weight off my shoulders, but also I feel like everything's coming down on me.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We've got some shows we've got a show this weekend. I've got some acoustic shows coming up, but we're starting to kind of get it back going. And I'm feeling really good about some things that are going to happen in March and in April and in May and
in June, in July.
I honestly don't know when the album's going to come out.
Oh, really?
It will be this year.
Okay.
I think I said that. Like I put this. I did something that was very uncomfortable. I sat in front of my phone and I spoke pretty candidly, but I had an idea of what I wanted to say. But I put this video out maybe a little over a month ago, and it was like, "Hi, social media. This feels awkward and weird. It's kind of like my brand, but I feel like this is the easiest way I can tell you, or at least keep myself kind of. You can't. I don't have a ton of followers or something like that. But if you put a video out and it goes, I'm going to release music this year. I'm still going to do music. I don't know what's going to happen, but these things are going to happen, and we're going to put this album out.
That creates that layer of accountability.
There's either do it or delete all social media and move to Colorado
Pretend like it never happened.
and change your phone number.
Gam, I'm just gonna leave Instagram for a while now. And
Then you start giving people money to like you're like hiring people to do things and help you like from publicists to management to like help getting people to help book you and stuff.
Make me look good.
And then a lot of people are starting to like pick back up again, and I'm very hopeful for the spring and the summer. And then your bandmates start not taking other gigs to do things that you say that's you've got on the on the horizon. So we're gonna keep sailing this ship, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So, are there some show dates that you said the 13th?
Yeah. So as far as around here, Thursday night in 2 days, we're playing a guy named Trey Rose. He was on The Voice. He's just phenomenal singer, man. That dude's like I'm sure Trey's a really good athlete, but if we both stand under the basketball hoop, I can jump straight up and dunk it, and he probably can't, no matter how much more athletic he is than me or how hard he works. I can sit next to Trey and we can both play guitar and sing, but I cannot make whatever is in me genetically and vocally. My vocal cords don't do what his do. That dude can sing like crazy.
I don't know, man. Your voice is.
I heard you on the Instagram live, and you were doing some covers and stuff. You've got a really great voice.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. But
I don't want anything from you. Don't get weird.
The imposter syndrome is setting in. But Trey's great, and he's a buddy, and so this local, I guess their promoter, Trig 44, is putting on this like pop-up show in a studio, and I think it's like capped at 30 people because of COVID and stuff like that. And there's a link in my Instagram and in like my About Me on Facebook and stuff like that. Or you go to Trig 44 or Trace, and I think you have to like DM them. It was funny. I was like posting about it on my story today, and then all of a sudden I realized I don't know exactly where this is or how to do this, but I know the link is in my bio.
It's over by the stockyards, I think, isn't it? Like somewhere.
No idea. Really? No idea. It's in Fort Worth, America.
Perfect.
And
that's where we are.
My favorite place.
So you can DM to get tickets to that on Thursday.
Okay.
And I think it says 6 to 9, but we'll play from like 6:30 to 8:30. But I got a feeling there's going to be some other cool Fort Worth musicians that are maybe attend this thing. And it won't just be us two that play songs.
Cool.
And what's that place called again?
Trig 44.
Trig.
Yeah. A friend of mine owns that company, and I don't know what you call it. Like I don't know if they're a booking agency or they're a promoter or what. But
bridging artists with opportunities, what they say.
Go.
So
I know they help a lot of artists, and they'd even
call me Jamie.
Early on, they had booked me some stuff, but I still try to do like most everything on my own, but Amy over there at Trig 44, they try real hard to help people out. So putting on cool events like this, especially when COVID was happening, like you could do like a private event in limited capacity, but try to do something to help artists out and help them make some money. So she's selling tickets, or they're selling tickets for that. That's on Thursday. And then Saturday, we're playing down at the Backyard in Waco, real cool venue with Giovanni and the Hired Guns. And I don't know if y'all know Gio and those guys, but they've really been on the come up. He just I guess he was like, they play with Coe and Reed Southall and Cody West and those guys. Heck of a group. So we're going to go kick that show off on Saturday, and that'll be the first full band show we've played since October. And in October, the 2 we played, it was the first we'd played since February. So we rehearsed this morning, really excited.
Yeah, you were on Instagram Live a little bit for that.
Yeah, I did like a teaser. We had actually finished, and we were like, hey, let's go over something real quick and then just cut it. So it turned it on like we were about to rehearse, and then that was
I noticed. I thought I caught the tail end of it. I was like, oh, and then you just like look at it and it ended. I was like, well, I guess I missed it. Oh, all right.
I didn't leave it on very long.
He pulled a sneaky.
Yeah.
But we're really excited. The band's ready to go. A buddy out of Denton named Tristan Coombs, phenomenal musician. He opened up for us last time we played at Magnolia Motor Lounge, and he's coming to play keys and sing background vocals. So
awesome.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
And then there's some acoustic things coming up down in Huntsville on the 5th with Austin Upchurch, another awesome artist from the area. Man, that dude's super talented and has a great band. They're doing big things. I think they're on a lot of people's radar, I guess, as far as like people who book the good stuff. And then we'll have that show Mags on the 13th. That'll be the next full band show. Really excited about that one. The Dirty Shirts are kicking it off. So they're a project from Cameron Moreland and Nick Santa Maria. Those guys have played with a lot of people, and Cam plays bass for me, and Nick's played in a lot of different bands, and they put this really cool rock band together. So they're going to come open up for
what's
for that
Nick's
night.
last name?
Santa Maria.
Oh, okay.
And so if you're tuning in, I'm going to post about it tomorrow. Nobody tag anybody that helps me manage any of my music stuff. But Magnolia Motor Lounge, I think that we're going to post tomorrow, and then the next day the ticket link will come up. And they're selling tables. I think there's 75% capacity now. So it'll be a bunch of 4 tops, 6 tops, 2 tops, and then GAs and all that good stuff. So that's going to be a really fun night, I think.
My favorite are no tops. Those are my favorite.
No
tops.
So if for those of you that are not Fort Worth people, you could also find his music on Apple Music. And is it just Apple Music or Spotify?
All the stuff.
Yeah,
all
so
the
just
stuff.
SoundCloud.
Yeah. Dustin,
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Dustin Massey.
Napster, LimeWire.
Yes! No. But you can find his music on Apple Music, Spotify, all the things. Just look up Dustin Massey, Dustin Massey, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, awesome. He's got 3 songs on there. Run, Wannabe, right?
Yep, and Black-Hearted Woman.
Black-Hearted Woman. They're very different sounds, though, right? Like, we haven't really talked about actually talking about the music.
Let's
you want to talk about that, Tim?
Yeah, I do want to talk about that.
You gave me a drink and you asked me to tell you the story,
And you told a story.
Tim's like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here.
like a bunch of people were like, we had an hour for this, but we
We can go longer.
What the hell, Jamie?
Hey, so listening to the national sessions.
Right.
I'm listening to the Wannabe, and then I listen to Black-Hearted Woman, and I'm like, the fuck.
Yeah.
So you're talking like drastic opposite ends of the spectrum in like the best way possible. And so I was just thinking like those 3 songs, and you throw like this, you've got these kind of like, I don't know, more slower and just this beautiful sound. And then you got this kind of like bluesy raw sound on that Black-Hearted Woman. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is freaking cool. And then I'm not going to talk too much about your other stuff, but again, you did that
similarities.
You did it to me again, and I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like this is really cool, Do you mind if I just blast just a little segment here off of the national? Okay, so just to give the listeners perspective, I'm gonna play a little bit of Wannabe here, and it's just. I mean, it's wild to me. Like, it's so beautiful. Like, the guitar sounds great. And then we hear you singing, I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then Black-Hearted Woman, I'm like,
grew up running from something. I never knew what it was. I gave away pieces of myself till I learned it was never enough. And I've carried regrets till they brought me to my knees. I've learned the more love that you give, the more you'll receive.
Do you love or hate listening to yourself?
I just feel like I have like this mental state that I get in where I'm like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't love it or hate it either.
Okay, good.
yeah, so beautiful song.
Yeah.
It, like,
Beautiful voice.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Beautiful.
yeah. And then just to go show what I was getting at is we're gonna play a little Black Hearted Woman here, and
featuring Keith Gaddis.
You got this complete different sound, and I love it. Absolutely love it.
Thanks, man.
Black as night. She done stole my soul. There's no hope in sight. Dirty deeds are done now. There's no chance to make right. I can't shake the feeling that woman snake bite. No, nobody knows I'm under love's control. And she won't let go because black eyed woman got me on your spell.
I mean, so good.
So that style kind of reminds me of, you mentioned him earlier, like back in the day when we used to go listen to Josh Weathers a little bit, back when he would play, was it the Basement Bar or whatever it was over by...
that was the first time we had Basement Bar, or whenever we saw him at Spencer's Corner.
Yeah, we would see him like every Thursday night though, but it was like that blues fun, like, I don't know, it felt good. It's very similar, right? But love it.
It shows
the differences.
It shows your range.
Yeah,
like you've got some serious, range in your... kind of digging from that singer-songwriter Red Dirt sound, and then throwing like Southern bluesy rock with, it's cool, man.
Thanks, man. It took a really long time to just like get comfortable with like playing music exactly how I heard it in my head and feeling it. Throughout, those years of playing before actually going and playing live and be like, I'm going to do this. There was this like, I don't sound really like anybody else. And sometimes you would try to sound like this guy or try to sound like this guy. And it wasn't sincere. It didn't work. It wasn't believable. Get comfortable with just like, you know what? Some of my stuff is going to sound like some Southern rock. Some of it's going to sound like the album. My favorite song on the album is a piano ballad.
Okay.
That almost flirts at being a little bit like, I don't want to say R&B, but it's pop.
Yeah.
Kind of. Wrote it about my honey.
Okay.
Hey,
love you, baby. She became a licensed nurse practitioner today. So.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That is fantastic.
I will drink to that.
And Dustin's spending his night with us.
She must be pretty cool because I get to go drink whiskey and be on a podcast.
Awesome.
Like some of it's I got some love songs. I got some figured out and find yourself songs. I got some F it songs. I got some heartbreak songs.
Yeah.
And the album is going to be very much like that. I think the guys are really proud of it, and it's very like every time you hit next or you let a song finish and go to the next one, it's like very different.
That's cool.
It's always really cool to have that or be able to hear that kind of diversity on an album. It's also one thing that makes you want to listen to the entire album, right? If you hear songs that are all the exact same, it's like, okay, I can listen to that once or twice, right? But when you have that kind of range within an album or on just a few songs, like it just makes you want to continue to listen to it over and over and over because it almost becomes like this, almost like a play, right? Like a play is not the same all the way through. You want to continue.
You have your different acts and all that stuff, and and it really comes down to how you arrange. You're arranging your songs in the album and how you wanted to play out and tell the story. So I got into collecting vinyl, right? Mm-hmm. And like everybody else did. But my whole thought on whenever I buy a record is I'm looking for something that I'm going to listen to through its entirety because it's hard to skip songs on a record, right? Mm-hmm. So it's something that I'm dedicated to listen to. I'm going to put it on and I'm going to play it through the whole thing. And so I think it's really cool. You catch with just those 3 songs on there, you catch with this one, and you finish off super strong with something completely different. It captivates your attention and makes you want to keep listening to it. So I'm really looking forward to the new album.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys actually checking it out and diving into it.
We jammed out. I mean, it's
I mean, if you were to tell me like 4 or 5 years ago, even, or maybe even 3 or 4 years ago, put me like right before I even started like recording anything or even had a paid gig, that anybody would actually be paying attention or like enjoying music I made that wasn't like my mom, my aunt, my grandma, my cousins, and like my girlfriend being like,
or the
hey,
neighborhood.
Exactly. I would have just like laughed at you.
How was that feeling the first time you got your paid gig?
It was really cool. I remember I didn't know how to dress for it, and I wore flip-flops. And so I took the flip-flops off during the gig. And for a while, I was kind of known as like the barefoot flip-flop guy. I was like, do I have to keep doing this? Because that was
you
like
really were a hippie.
That was an accident. I just like came down from Colorado, and I was like, I had flip-flops and like basketball shoes. And I was like, which one am I wearing on stage? And just in Texas at the Mule Barn,
So it's
Neither.
Right.
Neither.
Flip them off.
Yeah.
Chad and I were in bands at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Played
Awful.
it. Yeah, awful. Terrible bands.
Mine was completely awful.
Mine wasn't completely awful, but
Not great.
yeah.
But it's fun.
It was fun, and I will tell you. So we played quite a few shows in Dallas, at like the Curtain Club. That was like the bar that we played at the most, and then we played at Rubber Gloves in Denton. I don't even know if that place is still open, but we didn't get a paid gig until we went to Rubber Gloves. And Rubber Gloves is this tiny little building, maybe probably the size of your living room is what it feels like. It's not big, and they paid us. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is so cool. We got like $120. We got a portion of the door. We're big time now. And then we broke up. Like maybe 2 weeks later.
Yeah, well, I mean, you knocked out the thing. You became an actual professional musician.
I played. I didn't play for free for at least one show. So yeah, but it's a cool feeling. Like you get that. Like people are there to listen to you, and then you get handed an envelope with some money, and you're just like, this is really freaking cool. And I get it. Doing this podcast, we made a stupid song one night.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting here just like we had I got some beats going and whatever, and we're all just like freestyling some lyrics and stuff. And once we did that, it was like, okay, we're all kind of drinking, we're having a good time. It's just kind of flowing, and like we all kind of understood, like we get it. We understand like why this is a thing, why people enjoy making music. Yeah. Because it's just, you're putting your soul into it, and it's kind of fun, even if nobody's going to hear it. But
it's also something that everyone enjoys. Like if you have just the slightest musical talent and you're able to like put yourself out there on something that you enjoy, then there's like this sense of accomplishment, and also just a good feeling that everyone likes music. There's no one that doesn't like music, right? And so I don't know, it's just fun. It's for sure fun. So being able to go through this entire story with you and understand like where you've gone from to where you are now, and being able to do what you really enjoy doing is really, really cool. Yeah.
It's like you go on the first date and you're like, so you like music? Like,
nope.
No. Yeah. Like, well, that's a stupid question. Yeah. Everybody loves music, but it's really
Did that
cool.
happen to you? Is this a story?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm out of here.
I asked a girl one time, do you like music? No.
Hey, so what did it feel like hearing yourself for the first time with an actual band, like recorded?
It was like giggly. Like I was like, it was
like,
even like hearing those, I've gotten to the point where I can like kind of separate myself from it a little bit, and I'll be like, okay, like I think that's good.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying I'm like reinventing the wheel with music or something. It's just like, I can be happy with that, and I think a lot of it has to do with like how you weigh out your gratitude and your expectations, and like setting your expectations for yourself. If your expectations are Columbia Records is going to sign me and I'm going to sell, I'm going to have 100 million streams. Yeah. Well, you're going to, me personally, I'm probably not going to be very satisfied. But if I'm like people are I'm going to make a record, I'm going to put it out, and venues that I would go see other artists play at are willing to pay me money to come there and play, and that's where the expectations are. It's like you stay really, really grateful and happy.
Yeah. So on that subject, like how often do you like step back and you see the work you're putting in, you see like the work that's going into the album, what's gonna probably come in the future? Do you ever step back and see like enjoy and appreciate like what's coming or what you've already, like the work you've put in? Like, do you ever step back and are like, this is really good. I'm happy. This is making me like enjoy this. This is why I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's like any hobby that becomes more than a hobby. It flirts with being a job a little bit, you know. And the only way to make this a real thing is to treat it like a job. And so it does get stressful, but there are those times where you like step back. And I mentioned the Reckless Kelly show earlier. So I had this moment. It was back when I was working for that company, and there was a cool venue that didn't last very long called the Rio Brazos in Granbury. Awesome venue. I don't know why it didn't last very long, but it was super cool. And I was seeing Reckless Kelly. I was with one of my best friends, and I'm like right by the speaker and the lead guitar player, just destroying my eardrums. And I'm like yelling at him. And I remember just like, it was so cool. I don't know, probably like 5 or 6 beers deep. And I was like, I'm going to do this one day. And he was like, yeah, you are. I was like, yeah, I am. And I had this moment when we were playing with Reckless Kelly at Hank's, and it was sold out. And, I mean, we're just the opener. Yeah. It's sold out. There's 12 people there for me.
It doesn't matter.
But it was sold out.
Sold out show with Reckless Kelly.
And somebody took a video from behind me in front of this huge crowd.
That's awesome.
And it's on my Instagram somewhere. It was like, well, maybe the video isn't, but there's a picture. And it's a picture of this crowd. And I took the picture as I was getting off stage. And it's just, there was no room for another person.
Yeah.
And this is beautiful stage. And I was getting off, and I thought to myself, like, wow, 2 years ago, I was like in tears with anxiety playing open mic for 12 people who were also feeling the same way as me, or just drunk, and they were just the regulars at the open mic.
Yeah.
And like, this is insane. And we were playing Black Hearted Woman, and there was this group of ladies in the front, and I caught them singing the lyrics to my song. And it was just like, it's so hard to be like, oh shit, I got to keep playing music. I can't just stop and be like, Dad, this is crazy. So there's like moments like that. Another one was Grady Spencer. I was listening to Things to Do on the way home. Like the song, like, Bless My Soul and Take Me Home to Fort Worth, you know, and like, I'm listening to that as I'm driving, pulling a trailer to move to Fort Worth from Colorado, not even thinking like, I'm gonna play with Grady. And then we play last January, sold out at Mags. And I remember being in the crowd, and somebody had told me, hey man, if you're gonna like be an artist or whatever, like, you need to like hang by the merch and stop trying to be right in the middle of the crowd for the show after you. And I was like, no,
screw that.
Like, I would be right. This is not an act.
Right.
If I wasn't opening for Grady tonight, I would have bought tickets to see Grady tonight, and I would be right here singing all the words to these songs.
Like, I'm going to enjoy watching Grady tonight.
Yeah.
This is what's happening.
Like, it just looked, I just got in for free. This is cool, you know? It's a little different when you're the headliner, and there's a little more like, I don't want to call it pressure, but just like, there's a little more business aspect to it. But I've had some of those moments that you just kind of like afterwards, you think, oh, we're out there playing rock and roll. Let's go party super hard afterwards. I'm usually just kind of like just sitting like, man, this is really cool. I used to play in the garage for the neighborhood, and Donna would turn her hearing aid down so that like, and then wave from across the street, you know?
Shout back out to Donna.
Yeah, Donna's getting a lot of love.
She's a longtime listener, I believe.
Right. She's long forgot that I exist, but
I doubt it. You probably made her laugh.
Maybe. She made good brownies. But, I'd shovel her snow. Brownies would show up the next day.
Very nice. That's a pretty good deal.
But yeah, a lot of those moments that leave you very thankful, and it's like, keep letting the gratitude outweigh the expectations. I mean, I think we're going somewhere with it, whether that's, amphitheaters and stadiums, who knows? But there's a lot of happiness behind it.
But you enjoy it. The music's good. You've got a good band behind you.
Yep.
Like, all the things are looking up and positive and going the right direction.
Yeah. And how many times is it like, I wish I would have done like I have those moments like, man, why did I quit football just to do basketball? I probably could have thrown that pigskin quarter mile. I could have been quarterback. I'm 6'5". I'm built like Trevor Lawrence. Come on now. What am I doing? But like, I don't have to do that.
You're not Trevor Lawrence.
I'm not Trevor Lawrence.
Son of a bitch.
Tim, we told you. Jesus.
You had the booking figured out.
That's my bad.
Well, sorry to let
We
you down,
tried to get
Funky
Trevor
Panther.
Lawrence. We got Walmart version of Trevor Lawrence.
The
it's all
that's
good.
fine.
Discount.
Walmart version of Trevor Lawrence is like one of the nicest things anybody said about me. And it was, if I was going to go by an artist alias, that was like close to
That
like
was
in the
close.
running.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great value, Trevor Lawrence.
Well, we'll definitely make sure that we drop all of your social and your music on our podcast notes, and then also our video notes. But is there anything else that you want to shout out before we go ahead and wrap this up?
Man, I want to shout out everybody like for supporting Fort Worth and the local musicians out here. Not just the musicians, but the bars, the restaurants, and everything. This is a really cool community. And even when you kind of saw things happening, I mean, it's Texas, but Fort Worth's our home during like the freeze last week. There's a lot of people helping a lot of people out. During COVID, a lot of people doing live streams, or it's limited capacity. People like wanting to tip, wanting to help out, service industry people.
Fort Worth takes care of its own.
Shout out Fort Worth.
Absolutely.
Love Fort Worth. And,
100%.
Whatever happens with music or in life, at the very least, I think I will at least get to play music in Fort Worth for as long as I'm breathing.
That's a pretty good gig.
So it's pretty good.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, Dustin. We've had a phenomenal time getting to know you a little bit. Look forward to listening to you more live here coming pretty soon. Like I mentioned, we'll drop some of his music and then also his social on our page. So go ahead and check that out. If you don't already follow us on social media, you can do so at The Funky Panther. You can follow Dustin at
Dustin Massey.
That's easy enough. All right. If you don't already do so, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Twitch. We're live every Tuesday at around this time. So thank you for joining us. Stay good, Fort Worth. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
And I'm Tim.
And we are
The Funky Panther.
Fort Worth, baby.
Stay good.